My name is Keith Luck. I'm from the NSBU at VMware. I am a staff SE, and I'm here to talk about the HOL hands-on lab environment that you'll find at this year's VMworld in Las Vegas. We have an agenda to look at today. We've got the expert lab workshop that we want to talk about. At HOL, we do labs where you come in and get hands-on access to software that's new, fresh out. But we also have expert lab workshops where you get to come in, and those people who built the labs are there to tell you about the lab, to answer your questions, to give you more insight about the product that you're coming to look for. Today we're looking at NSX. NSX is the networking and security software from VMware that does virtualized networking. So as you see on the screen, you have an environment that's going to give you an ability to have a console where you're going to have live action. This is a live lab. It is not a click-through. It's nothing that's just canned. In fact, you'll be able to do all features and functions. You'll see on the right side that there is a manual for you to go through. We'll give you precise instructions on how to go through the manual, on steps to go through. We'll lead you through step by step. But you do have the ability to go through and do your own testing. You can work in the lab and do your own work. We have provided experts in the lab. So in the workshop, there's also going to be people who built the lab. These are the captains. We refer to the authors who build the content, who build the pod, who create the environment for you. Those are captains. Captains are there to provide in the workshops an environment where you can ask questions. You can ask questions about how the lab was built. Were there any problems with the lab? You can ask questions about something that you see in the lab that you want to take in a different direction and you want to discuss it. So these labs usually last about an hour and a half, give you that access to expert knowledge in the lab. So for this year, we're going to look specifically at the NSX hands-on lab. This lab is about NSX, and what I wanted to do just real quick is I wanted to go through and give you an example of what NSX is. So if you have no experience with it, NSX is VMware's virtualized networking platform. This is going to give us an ability to do all of our logical switching, our logical routing, logical firewalls. We're going to be able to do a lot of functionality all in software. So this is a software-driven product. On screen, you're going to be able to see that what we've got is an example of an environment that has two hosts, and those two hosts also have controllers. Now, the hosts you see are 10-net. Now, we're doing this to prove that this could be a very complex routed network. The only thing to make this work is simple IP transport. If one host can ping the other host, then this is going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to use control clusters. The controllers are going to have the brains, it's a database, it has the information. TCP/IP was a great product when we were thinking about Cold War and we were thinking about having to have some sort of a network that could be self-healing. We don't need that anymore. We need a faster, better network. And so with a controller, we can avoid some of the things that go on in TCP/IP, such as having to discover what the administrative route is, or having to do an election between devices to find out who's now going to take over once one object has left the network. So in this case, we're going to start off with our cluster controller. We add to that a management plane. The management plane is going to be an API set, which we handle through our own web interface, but it's completely a REST API, which means that any tool that you have can be used to program REST API to make the product work. In this case, we're going to start off with a scenario, this green network. Now notice it's a 192.168.1 network. It has two VMs in that network. We're going to call for those two VMs to be placed, one on each host. While they're coming up, we'll be able to also declare we need that 192 network. Now you see that there's a green network between these two hosts. This is an encapsulated tunneled network. It's not encrypted, but it does create a tunnel where these two VMs are going to think that they're on the 192 regardless of that routed complex network on the bottom. So these two VMs, with whatever networking tool you might want to use, they're going to see each other as being side by side. So we could make a change. We could add a different host, cause a vMotion, get that VM to move over. Well, our networking can actually be put in place ahead of even the vMotion. So you come to expect that a vMotion allows that VM to move and not even drop a ping. to have an instantaneous move of that VM. We can have the network in place ahead of that, so this virtualized networking product doesn't even add any more latency to your equation as you have it. Here we're going to add another VM. Now you see what ends up happening is a mesh network starts to be created. Now those hosts that are involved with VMs are now part of the solution, and this works. It's all very fast. It is all very software driven. But we understand that you have more than just a virtualized network. So far, I'm showing you that green 192.168.1 network all in the virtual space. You probably still have that 192 network in your physical space. And so with that, we have what just showed up. That is a gateway services module. This appliance gives you the bridge, if you want to call that, between what's in the virtual space, which we call VXLAN, Virtual Extensible Local Area Network, connecting to the physical local area network that you get in that VLAN through the physical space. So now again, if you were to use your networking tools, these VMs on the left side of the screen to the physical on the right would all connect up and see each other as one unit. None of them would be able to understand, find, or have any knowledge about that underlying TIN network. Well, we also know that you go beyond just one network in your company. You've got more networks, plus you have the connection that wants to get to the internet. So in that case, we're able to put in a routing module to that same device that gives you the ability to have routing. And so now we have OSPF, BGP, dynamic routing capabilities, static routes, route redistribution, all the functionalities you expect to be able to get from the 192 to any other network that you wish to have. So that pretty much wraps up what we get in networking, but we also have, as I mentioned earlier, security. In the security side of the house, we can add to that the ability to have virtualized networking as well as virtualized security on a per VM basis. We refer to this as microsegmentation. The microsegmentation lets you now have the ability to have VM to VM firewalls, yet there's no agent in the VM. There is no service running in the VM. So if someone is able to compromise the VM and elevate themselves to a root or administrator level, there's nothing to shut off, disable, get rid of, and so the security is always intact. This security stays with the VM, even if it vMotions from one host to another host. So its security policy stays with it. That's what we're looking to do here, is to give you very enhanced security. We also have the ability to add to the functionalities network services. We can do things like load balancing here. We have the ability to do DHCP relay. So we have a lot of additional functions and features that we can add into your networking experience. And because, as I said all along, this is in software, that means that if you want another one, you can have another one. You can pretty much reuse our objects and our tools to get as much and as complicated as a network as you want, all found in software. So this is an example of what NSX is. And so this year for our labs, we'll be able to, for NSX, you'll be able to have access to the 1703 series. Now you'll look on screen and you'll find out that there's several of these. We have a feature tour. It really takes you through all the steps of all that I just highlighted to you in the previous slide. But with that, there are some additional manuals. Some manuals that let you look specifically at a topic. This year we're giving you topic type of access. So you don't have to go hunting and find where a topic is in some other deep lab, but you can also have it direct. In this case, we're going to give you microsegmentation, like I just spoke about, so you can find how to get directly to that. You can explore microsegmentation. We also have some operations and visibility. How do I manage my NSX? How do I troubleshoot it? How do I have access to see what's really going on in the virtual space, much like I've had all this whole time in my physical space? That'll do that for you. We also have several other labs. You can see these here. We cover in the 1720 OpenStack. So we have our VMware integrated OpenStack. That's called VIO. That is our product set that allows you to run NSX in an OpenStack environment using OpenStack tools. We also have our features that allow you to look at some of our other partners. We can do Palo Alto networks. We can see how you can do service chaining. A Checkpoint is also another example in this. We have a lab for that as well. We also have an advanced lab, the 1725 will let you see NSX in a multi-site. So 2 geos, 2 different sites, 2 different vCenters. How does these work together? How do you integrate that? That's what you could find in the 1725 series of labs. And then there is a 1729 that's going to let you see our new integration of a product. You may have heard that we made an acquisition of the Arkin company. This is now our vRealize Network Insight. And this product is going to be highlighted at in the labs as well. Let you see those labs, let you go through and see how that product gives you that great visibility. As well as we have for you first time a VMware View, which is our VDI virtual desktop infrastructure. We now can do View with NSX. And for good measure, we'll throw in Trend Micro to let you see how antivirus can be done in this as well. So with that, there's our roundup of what we're going to be doing for NSX this year at HOL. We hope you come by and enjoy the labs. Thank you.